Good morning. I'm Chad Cook, one of the Operations Section Chiefs with California Incident Management Team 1, coming to you live from the KNP complex. We are working the south zone of that, and I'm going to give you a south zone morning operational update. So as you can see this big yellow line right here, this is going to divide the north from the south. California Incident Management Team 2 has the north end, we have the south end, and I'm going to start right over here at this zone break up here at drop point 80 called Division X-ray, which is the entire, we'll call it the southwest side of the fire facing out towards the 99 corridor. So this area that's right here, actually before I get started with that, I do want to tell you guys this. Our team took over the fire last night at 1800. We had a transition of command. That transition of command put us out in the field all day yesterday, gathering some intelligence, kind of a familiarization for us for the fire. As a new incident management team comes in, we put our overhead in place with all the resources that are there. We become familiar with the dirt. We actually shadow them. They bring us up to speed on things that were taking place, and then we move into the operation and we take it over, hopefully seamlessly, and we can put this thing to bed, this fire to bed. And again, we had a great handoff from the other team, and again, I just wanted to start with that whole thing so you understood who we are and where we, kind of our background and how we do this with a transition. So starting up here in Division X-ray, you'll see that this is all red. And yesterday, as we got a look at this from drop point 81 all the way down to drop point 82, could basically be black lined. And what you're going to see is that there was really no heat signatures anywhere through this Sheep Ridge wilderness study area just outside of it, and then everything that is basically south and west of Yucca Mountain. All this looked really good. We're going to probably see some black line on the map. We flew it, we patrolled it, we have people out here, and we feel confident that this fire won't leave this footprint. As you move down to drop point 82, there's a big belly in here that comes from the dozer line just below this that runs up into this section 19 on the map. There is still some heat signatures that are high up here, and we do have crews that are in there today were in there yesterday and today, and they're continuing to hold this upper corner to make sure nothing comes out of there. The rest of this line, as you move all the way down to Fry's Point, and from Fry's Point down into the Ash Mountain area, all of this continues to look really good. No real issues with anything that you see. The only real heat that we have is up into here. Now, this area that continues to back and move that's in here between Shepherd Saddle and here, this is really steep, inaccessible, rugged terrain and very difficult for our firefighters to get in there. So we've been monitoring it by air. And when I say steep, looking at it from the air, it is darn near vertical in several places. So it's very treacherous in there. And again, there is vegetation in there. So we are doing what we can to keep to see where we can get into certain areas. But again, there's been no movement on the fire in there. It is virtually cold and the heat signatures are interior. So we'll continue to monitor it from air and do a risk versus gain analysis on where we need to put people into these areas. So again, this looks really good all the way down to Ash Mountain. As you take from Ash Mountain and you move in the Division Alpha area all the way down, you'll see this got black line in the last few days. Again, we feel that this has no threat of movement in here, and we felt that it was cooled down enough along the perimeter that we could black line this and then switch to a different suppression repair in this area. As you move down into the Mineral King highway system that's down here, a road system, down to drop point 30, you'll see where it came down below the road. Crews went direct on this, and as you probably got briefings over the last several days, that continues to hold with no movement. Patrol and mop-up continues. Once we feel there's no threat to the line down in here, you'll see us black line this as well, but there has been no further movement down to drop point 30. Turning the corner on 30 into this east fork of the river drainage here, this continues to be one of our trouble spots. There continues to be heat, even with the recent precipitation rain that we got. There continues to be some heat that's right down in here. We're going to continue to work that today, but again, this is very deep, steep, inaccessible terrain for our folks. So we're going to monitor it with aircraft. We're going to use aircraft in there, use bucket ships, and we're going to again, when I say look for opportunities, we're going to continue to scout and see if we can find ways into there that we can take care of any of those heat sources. But that continues down along this section in here. Again, the rest of the river looks really, really good. There is a piece that over here in section 34 that came down, that slopped over down in here to the river. This got plumbed with hose. Crews went direct on that, and they were able to tie it back into the bottom of the river. Patrol and mop-up continues, and really no movement on this piece that comes down to the river. So we've got a few sections in this river drainage that are a priority. Again, just by 30 and over here by 34. No real movement or heat signatures that are in here. If we can button up these two corners, you're going to see a game changer in here with keeping any southerly spread of this fire. As you turn the corner up into the Atwell Grove, I'm sure you got a briefing yesterday from the other team on what's taken place up here in this Atwell Grove. We've got multiple hand crews that were able to grab an edge on this and go direct, and they are working towards Paradise Peak. Again, very steep, high elevation type stuff in here, and they are moving through this Atwell Grove going direct with a plan to tie it into Paradise Peak over the next several days. So you hear me talk about that over the next few days as crews continue to plug up towards Paradise Peak. This piece has seen no movement in the fire all the way up into this higher elevation as you get all the way up into the Redwood Meadows patrol cabin. This cabin area has got retardant around it. Again, it is very remote location out here, and we're trying to get more retardant and more gel in the area to protect some of the trees and the groves that is out in here. But this fire has basically not moved, but we continue a presence that's out here to protect this, the trees and the infrastructure that's out here in these cabins. No real movement at all on the whole middle fork of the river. Nothing really happening out in here. Again, you still see it black because a lot of it has not been ground truthed and checked, or excuse me, still show it red because it has not been ground truthed or checked. You'll see hopefully us patrolling using technology, infrared technology and stuff to see if there's any heat signatures and to make sure there's no threat of escape. As you get into this area of the Buckeye Flat down into here, this area continues to be worked, and the Giant Forest Grove area up into here, this continues a presence from the north zone down into this area of Morrow Rock. So a couple of the things that are taking place, we are partners with CAL FIRE on this incident, and they are embedded into the structure protection and community presence in the Silver City area, as well as the Mineral King area out this way, the Mill Campground, and this entire area out here with CAL FIRE presence for structure protection and infrastructure protection. At the same time, over here on Case Mountain, in the Case Grove, we've got resources that are up there that continue to prep this Case Grove area and the communication infrastructure that's up on the top of the ridge system here. So with that, we have several things that are going on around the fire. Again, this is our first day out here. I'm sure I'll get better intel today as I get out on the fire, talk with the troops that are out there. We've got 2 operations section chiefs that are, actually 3 that are on the incident, and all 3 of us are working together to make sure we can bring you good communications and we can give you good updates on what's going on the fire. We've set 3 priorities for today. Of course, the overall incident is our #1 priority, and the safety of the public and the protection of the trees and the assessed evaluation in and around the incident. But our priorities is make sure this thing does not move from where it's at is our #1 priority, especially down here in the river drainage. Our second priority is to make sure nothing comes out of that Section 19 that I talked about. And then our third priority is to continue this lineup and button this thing up from any spread or backing fire that comes towards Silver City. So again, those are all priorities that we've set, 3 priorities on the incident for our operational objectives. And I appreciate that. This is our morning report, and I'll look forward to connecting with you guys on our evening operations as well.